Welcome to a walkthrough video for the Continuing Competency Program, or CCP, of the College of Opticians of BC. This video is intended to assist BC registrants in using the online tools necessary for completing the required steps of the CCP. My name is Chris, and I will provide step-by-step instructions as well as some tips to consider when completing your program. There are further program materials in the quality assurance section of our website at cobc.ca. Those include some instruction manuals as well as some frequently asked questions about the program. If after watching this video and exploring some of those tools you still have questions, please feel free to contact our office at any time. Now let's get started. The first thing you'll need to do is access the COBC website, which is simply cobc.ca. Once you're on our website, you'll need to find the Opticians login link, which is in the top right corner of your page. Once you click Opticians Login, you'll be asked to enter your user ID, your password, and your license number. Your login information will be the same that you used to renew your license each year. You'll need to remember this information as you'll likely be logging in to work on your program throughout your cycle. If you can't remember your login information or have difficulty logging in, please contact our office for assistance. Once you've logged in, you'll see at the top of your screen that there's a QA or CCP link. This is where you will click to access your program. Once you click QA CCP, you have a few options. You will see the entry page for your program. You will see buttons for the quality assurance tools, continuing competency assessment, the online learning plan, a dashboard, or activities courses. You may wish to start by clicking the quality assurance tools. Doing so will open another tab for our website for information about the program. You'll see here there is a full information guide for the CCP, a frequently asked questions document, an instruction manual on how to log in and take the assessment, which is the first step in the program, another instruction manual for the remainder of the program, and a SMART goal guide, which will give you examples on how to set goals. Let's flip back to our program. Please know that you'll have access to these tools at any point throughout your program. Just look for the pink Tools button. You can also access them directly through our website. Next, let's take a look at the Continuing Competency Assessment. Once you are ready to start the program, your first requirement will be to complete the assessment. These assessments have been created for registrants to use the tool to better understand where to focus their continuing education. The assessments were developed by NACOR and were directly aligned with the National Competencies for Opticians. There's no need to prepare for the assessment in advance. You just want to find a quiet place without disruption, a solid internet connection, and allow for anywhere between 60 to 90 minutes to complete each section at your convenience. To get started, click Continuing Competency Assessment. Once you click Continuing Competency Assessment, you will see 4 different assessments on your screen. You will be required to complete whichever assessments have been made available to you. Which assessments you have access to is directly linked to the type of license you have with the COBC. If you are a dispensing optician, you'll be required to complete the core assessment and the eyeglass assessment. If you're a contact lens fitter, you'll have a third contact lens assessment. Or in this case, if you also have a refracting certificate, you'll have that assessment as well. On the screen are also some reminders about the assessments. These are not exams. So no matter what the results are, you cannot fail the assessment or lose your license. The results of the assessments are simply to provide you with information about yourself, to help you plan your professional growth and focus on the areas that may need development. Each assessment is timed, so please allow yourself the appropriate amount of time to complete it. Once you click Start to begin an assessment, you cannot pause it and return to it later. You can see here below that to the right of each assessment, it tells you how many questions there are, in this case 80, and this one provides you 90 minutes to complete it. You may not need that amount of time, but that's how much time you've been given. It's also important to remember that you don't need to complete all assessments in one sitting. You may do one today, one next week if you wish, but if you do start one, you must finish it at that time because, again, it is timed. The last thing to remember is just to enjoy the process. This program is designed to benefit you and your development. You are already good at what you do. This is just a great opportunity to learn more about yourself and create your own plan for further growth in your profession. Now let's get started by clicking on one of the assessments. I'm going to start with the core assessment. Once you hit start, you'll have one last reminder to have a good internet connection so you are able to finish once you've started. Hit OK when ready to continue. Once you've started, you can see that there is a clock in the top right corner of your screen. This will count down for you as you progress, so you'll always know how much time you have left to complete it. The assessments are made up of multiple choice questions, and it is your job to select what you think is the best answer for each question. Simply click your choice and move on to the next question. If you change your mind, you can always click on something different to change your selection. Once you've answered all the questions on a page, you may click Next to advance to the next screen. It'll always tell you which question you're on of the total questions. In this case, I'm on question 6 of 80. You can also hit Previous to go back to a previous page if you want to look at your answers or answer something you may have missed. Once you have answered all questions, the last page will have a button that says Submit the assessment. When you are finished the assessment, click that button to submit it. Now that we have submitted our first assessment, you will see that it has been marked as completed. Underneath the assessments, you will see a button that says View Assessment Results. Your results will be made available immediately after completing any one of the sections. Your results will also be available for you to view at any point throughout your cycle. Once you have clicked View Assessment Results, you will be able to see which of the national competencies you are exemplary in, moderate in, and those you may need to address based on your assessment results. These results will help you determine where to focus your development when deciding your learning goals in the next stage of the program. As the core assessment is the only assessment I have completed so far, you can see that they are the only results showing on this page. Once I complete another one, they will show directly below. Looking at my results, you can see that the competencies are listed on the left, and my performance or results for each competency are on the right. As these assessment results are directly aligned with the national competencies, you may wish to look at a complete description of the competency domains by downloading the document here. Clicking Download will open an extra tab directly for the NACOR document. Scrolling down, you can see that it starts with core competency number 1, Assumes Professional Responsibilities. Flipping back to our program and comparing it to our results for the core competency assessment, you can see that the results for core competency 1, Assumes Professional Responsibilities, is listed here. By reading a bit further, you can see that this competency has been broken down into several different sub-competencies, 1.1, 1.2, etc. It then lists performance indicators to help you understand which areas this competency covers, and then it further breaks it down into some practice illustrations to help you recognize how it might relate to you in your practice. Reading this document or consulting it when you are going through your assessment results will help you identify what each competency means when you're deciding which areas to focus on for your continuing education. Now that we've had a look at the results of one of our sections, we need to make sure that we complete the other portions as well. To get back to the assessments, you can just click the assessment button here to start your next assessment. Once you've completed all assessments required of you, you are now ready to move on to the next portion of the Continuing Competency Program, which is the online learning plan. From your results, you will choose which competencies to work on create some goals, and plan out the education activities you will be participating in to achieve those goals. To access the online learning plan, simply click here, or go back to the main QA page where you will also see the online learning plan button. The online learning plan button will only be accessible to you once you have completed all of your assessments. So if you cannot access it, be sure to check your assessment page and complete any remaining assessments. Clicking into your online learning plan, you will see an introduction page, which includes a brief overview of this portion of the CCP. To build your learning plan, you will create a minimum of 6 different learning goals. We encourage you to work on 2 per year to ensure you have enough time to address the goals you set for yourself, but really it's up to you on how to pace yourself. Next, you will complete some education activities to achieve the goals you set. The education activities you choose, including the number of activities, is up to your professional judgment. It's up to you to determine what is needed to meet the goals you've set and improve the competencies you've chosen to address. And finally, you will reflect on what you learned. This reflection is an opportunity for you to address whether the goal you have set and the work you did really helped you improve the competency that you hope to address. This page also includes a reference to the step-by-step manuals we looked at earlier. These are the guides found on the COBC website, so this is just a reminder that they are always available should you need them through the pink Tools button, which is also on this page. There are a few more things to consider when building your online learning plan. Be sure to click Save every time you make changes or add information to your plan. If you do not save your work within 20 minutes of making any changes, the session may log you out due to inactivity, and you may lose any changes that you've made. You may log in and out at any time to work on your plan or update your progress throughout the entirety of your cycle. The program is self-managed as well. Also, you're encouraged to take your time with it. So, to ensure continuous learning, try to work on it continuously throughout your 3-year cycle. You should have more than enough time to complete the requirements. When you're ready, click Add Goal below to get started. The Create a New Learning Goal page will contain some instructions on the right-hand side of what needs to happen next. The first step is to choose a competency that you would like to improve on by clicking the drop-down menu on the left and selecting one from the list. You'll recognize this list of competencies from the assessment results we looked at earlier. The COBC encourages registrants to focus their continuing education on the competencies listed as need to address, but this does not limit you to only those competencies. You may also find it useful to choose competencies that are most relevant to your practice. Let's walk through how a registrant might choose which competency to address. By closing this box and hitting Cancel, we can go back to the Learning Plan main page. On this page, there is a link back to your assessment results. Let's remind ourselves what the results were. In this case, the registrant needs to address a few of their competencies. Let's consider that this registrant is interested in the very first competency, assumes professional responsibilities, as they have been wanting to update some of their efficiencies in their practice. They may wish to go back to the NACOR list of competencies, which can be downloaded here and opened in a new tab, and have a look to remind themselves what that competency is in reference to. Here, under Competency 1, we can see a breakdown of what it covers. In our example, this registrant notices that Competency 1.3 mentions preparing documents and records in accordance with provincial legislation standards and guidelines. This registrant has been wanting to improve on managing their documents better at work, so they have decided that yes, this is the competency that they will choose for their first goal. Let's head back to our plan. Clicking back into the online learning plan, we can again click Add Goal and remind ourselves what the instructions are. Choose a competency that you would like to improve on by clicking the drop-down menu on the left and selecting one from the list. After consulting their assessment results and the NACOR document, this registrant has decided that they are going to choose Competency 1 to work on for their first goal. You can see underneath that there's a little reminder on what their assessment results were for that competency. Once you have chosen the competency to work on, you now need to create a goal for yourself to improve your skills and knowledge in that area, as it states in step number 2. We're encouraging people to use the SMART goal method, because doing so, you'll have a greater chance of success. Is the goal specific? Is it measurable? Is it action-oriented? Is it realistic? And is it time-bound? For specific SMART goal examples, we've also placed a link here to the SMART goal guide, which can also be found amongst the tools that we'd referenced earlier. In this case, this registrant knows exactly what it is that they would like to work on. The goal created states, by August 2021, I will update my patient record system to electronic records in accordance with professional standards. Now that the goal has been entered, you just need to hit save, and it'll take us back to the online learning plan page. You can see now on this page, at the bottom of your screen, goal number 1 has been created. If this was your first goal, it will be labeled goal number 1. If it was your second goal, it will be labeled underneath goal number 1 as goal number 2, etc. It will also state the competency you have chosen and the progress of the goal. It will first be shown as red, as not started. This is simply because you have not added any activities to your plan yet. Once you do, it will change to orange and be marked as in progress. And once it's completed, it will be green and marked as completed. You may now need to click on the plus sign to open and expand the goal so you can add further details to it. Once you do so, scroll down and you can see the goal in its entirety. Clicking the minus sign will close or collapse the goal again. This is just a way for you to manage your screen. If the goal details open, you can see a summary of your work so far. The competency you have chosen and the goal you created will be at the top. If you feel you need to edit any of this information, you simply need to click Edit in the top corner, and it will open up a familiar looking page. You can change the competency or rewrite your goal. Any change that you make, just remember to hit save, and it will save your work and bring you back to this page. Now that we've created our first goal, we can continue on and start planning out our actions, or we can create a second goal or a third one. You may create as many goals as you want, whenever you want, but the minimum requirement is 6 for your cycle. You will likely be working on 2 or 3 goals at the same time, depending on your plans for each. Each goal may take several months to accomplish, depending on what's involved, so you will need to think about your timeframes in order to meet your requirements at the end of your 3 years. Now that your goal has been created, your next step is to decide on a plan to achieve it. This section, under My Action Plan, requires you to complete 2 parts. You'll need to describe your action plan in detail, and you'll need to add the education activities that you've decided to participate in. The order in which you add the information is up to you, but you'll need to complete both parts. You have a couple of options. If you already know what you plan to do, you can first enter your plan details by typing out a description of everything that you'll be doing to accomplish your goal. You can then add all of the specific education activities that you'll be completing in your plan after. Or, if you don't yet know what you're going to do to accomplish your goal, you can first look for educational options or activities that might be available. Once you find some, you can add those, and then type out your plan in detail next. Remember that you can log in and out of your profile at any time to work on or update this plan. In our example, we're going to type out our description of our plan first. To do so, you need to click the icon next to the description box. Once this box opens, you'll type out everything in your action plan. Depending on your goal, you may have several different items in your plan. The format in which you write out your plan is up to you, but you should be as detailed as possible. The instructions at the top provide more detail, including further guidance on this section in a CCP information guide. The link is provided here. This guide is amongst the tools that we spoke of earlier. Once you've entered in your plan, click OK. You will then be taken back to the main screen where you will see your action plan for that goal. You may click the icon next to description if you need to edit it at any time. Now that we've written out our description, we can look back at the goal we first created, which was, by August 2021, I will update my patient record system to electronic records in accordance with professional standards. To achieve that goal, the plan we've created was to review the COBC standards on record keeping by January 2021, research electronic record and patient management systems that align with regulatory requirements by March of 2021, have a session with colleagues to prepare for system implementation by April of 2021, attend a communications and marketing class to advertise the new online system to patients by May, adopt a new electronic record system, update the website and import patient files by June, pilot the new system with staff before launching it to patients by July, and make any changes from the pilot and implement the new system by August of 2021, which is the date that we'd hope to achieve our goal. Now that we look back at our goal and compare that to what we've got planned out, we feel pretty confident that we can achieve our goal by taking these actions. We now need to add our activities. To do so, click Activity Course. A new page will open with instructions on the right-hand side. Based on the competency you've chosen to work on and the goal that you've set out to achieve, you need to decide what education activities to complete. To add an activity to your action plan, you have two options. One, click the box next to manually add an activity or course if you found an activity that will help you achieve your goal, and simply enter the details in the fields provided. Or, click the box next to select a known activity or course. Click the drop-down menu below to see if there are any activities available to you. This list is made up of any known activities that are currently aligned with the competency that you've chosen to work on. You may then select an activity to add it to your plan. Please note that the list of activities, if available, is only provided as a helpful tool. You're not required to choose from this list and may seek other activities that will contribute to achieving your goal. Anything listed on here has been aligned with Competency 1 because the system knows that that's the competency we've chosen to work on. Some of these may not be related to the goal that we hope to achieve, but some of them may. It's really up to you to just peruse and see if there's anything that might be applicable or helpful. For our example, let's start by manually adding an activity or course. We've entered in the activity that we've outlined in our plan description. We were going to review the COBC standards practice document to familiarize ourselves or remind ourselves what's required for record keeping. If you have a venue or the start or end date information, you should also enter that in, as well as an anticipated completion date. In this case, we're going to read this online, and we'd hope to do that by the end of January. Be sure to hit save when you've entered your information. Scrolling down, you can now see that our first activity has been entered directly below our action plan description. Should you need to edit that information, simply click the icon directly next to it. We can now add a second activity. Again, we'll go up and click Add Activity or Course, and this time, let's select a known activity or course. Again, by clicking the box next to Select a Known Activity, a drop-down menu will appear to see if there are any activities available to you. This list is made up of any known activities that are currently aligned with the competency you've chosen for this goal, Competency 1 in this case. Once you click the drop-down menu, you will be given a list of known accredited activities that are aligned with the competency you've chosen to work on. Again, these are simply options, and you're not required to choose any of them or add them to your plan if you don't find anything of use. In this example, we are looking for something to align with our goal related to assuming professional responsibilities. We can see one here called Professionalism in the Workplace that might be related to something we're hoping to achieve. To learn more information about it, we can just click the question mark on the right side of any item that we find. Doing so, this will show you who the sponsor of the activity is, as you may need to contact them further for more information about this education. It's important to remember that what you're doing is adding education into your program, but you don't have access to the actual education through this program. So finding out who the sponsor will be key, so you'll know who to contact to participate. After finding out more information about this education, I've decided to add it to my program. To do so, I simply need to click on it. You'll see now that the proper field has been populated with that piece of education, and I can continue to add the other fields as I have in the past for my manual activity. Again, this is an item that will be done online. I hope to accomplish this sometime in February. Once I've added the information, I just need to remember to hit save, and I'll be taken back to the main screen. I can now see that my second activity has been added directly below my first. To add another activity to your action plan, simply click Activity Course again, and do this as many times as needed until all activities in your plan have been added. Let's talk a little bit more about updating and editing your action plan. Throughout your cycle, you'll need to update the information in your plan as you make progress. Whenever you need to do so, you can simply log back in and update it. If you need to update the description of your action plan, simply click the icon next to the text box, make the change, and hit OK. You can see that the change has been made immediately. If or when you need to update an activity in your action plan, click the appropriate icon next to the particular activity. In this case, I'm just going to change the anticipated deadline for when I hope to read the Standards of Practice document. Again, hit save. It will take you back to your main action plan, and you'll see that the change was made. If you decide you want to delete an activity because you no longer want to do it, you'll also click the Edit icon and find the Delete button in the activity. Simply click Delete and it will be removed from your plan. If you have completed an activity, you will need to click on the Edit icon and update the information. As you can see, there is a field here that says completed, no. You need to change this to yes and hit save. You can now see that this activity has been updated and marked as completed. This is a required step each time you've completed an activity in your action plan. Failure to update this will prevent you from submitting the goal later. If you've completed an activity, you can also upload a document to show proof or evidence that you have completed or attended the education. To do so, again, click the Edit, and at the bottom, there's a button called Upload a Document. To do so, click the button, choose the file from your computer, and simply upload. You can see now that it's sitting in your activity. While this may not always be applicable for every type of activity, you are encouraged to upload documents if you have them. Once you have one uploaded, hit Save, and you can see now that this activity lists one document as being uploaded. If you have further documents to upload, simply click Edit again and upload as many as you need to. If you need to delete a document, hit Edit again, find that document, and click the X, which will delete the document from the activity. The final item in the Edit an Activity page are the reflection notes. If you wish to make notes for yourself regarding the activity, you may use this field at the bottom of the screen. This is an optional field, but you might find it useful to add some thoughts or ideas about the education, so you have something to refer to later when completing your reflection section prior to submitting the goal. If you do add notes, type them in and hit Save. You'll see now that any notes that you've entered can also be viewed in the activity section. Before moving on to the My Reflection section, let's mark this second activity as complete. After you have finished everything in your action plan, including all of the educational activities that you needed to hopefully achieve your goal, you need to complete one final step in order to submit that goal. At the bottom of your goal, there is a section called My Reflection, which needs to be completed. To reflect on your learning, click the Edit My Reflection button on the right side of the screen. Doing so will open a new screen where you will need to reflect on your learning for this goal. There are some guided questions to assist you and a link to a more expanded list of questions to consider when answering this question. Some of the guided questions are: how did this help improve my patient care? What worked well? What didn't work well? And what can I do differently next time? You aren't required to answer these questions, as you can format this section however you wish, but hopefully these will help provide some guidance. In the field provided, type out a summary of your experience in trying to accomplish the goal. If you had added any notes in your activities in the reflection notes section, you may want to revisit those now to help you with this section. Once you have entered all the information in your plan, click OK. You will then be taken back to the main screen where you will see the My Reflection section has been filled. And you may click Edit My Reflection at any time to edit or add more information. If you're typing a lengthy reflection, it's a good idea to click OK every few minutes to save your work. Failure to do so after a long period might cause your session to time out and you may lose your work. There is no right or wrong way to complete this section, but please give it some serious thought. It's important that you're as detailed as possible to show that you've thought back on your experience in trying to achieve what you've set out to in the first place. Doing so will show that you've learned something along the way and hopefully improved on the competency. Once you have accomplished your goal, completing your plan and all the activities, properly reflecting, you can now mark the goal as completed. At the bottom of the goal, simply click Goal Completed. Now that your goal has been marked as completed, it is essentially closed and you can focus on your other goals. However, if you need to reopen this goal to add or change some information, you may do so by clicking Reopen Goal at the bottom of the goal. If you do reopen the goal to make changes, be sure to click Goal Completed again when you've made the changes. Because you finished this goal, you might choose to toggle the minus sign to collapse the goal. So now you can focus on your goal number 2, your goal number 3, and so on. Once you've created more goals, you'll see them all listed together, each with its own button to expand or collapse the details for each. Once you have completed a minimum of 6 goals, you have met the requirements for your continuing competency program. There is no need for you to send us anything to meet your requirements at the end of your cycle, and you don't need to contact us to advise us you are done. You simply need to have 6 goals marked as completed in your program, with all the necessary details filled out for each. Once you have completed a minimum of 6 goals, the COBC will be able to see that you have met your requirements and may review your details for audit purposes. If you wish to do more than 6 goals, you are certainly welcome to do so. Now that we've completed a goal and gone through the online learning plan, let's go back to the QA main page. We've gone over the quality assurance tools and taking the assessment and completing a goal in the online learning plan. You also have access to the dashboard. You will gain access to the dashboard when you've completed your assessments. The dashboard is simply a place to check on your progress for your goals. You can see here that it notes that I've completed 1 goal and don't have any other ones in progress. This is also a spot where we may update the program with any news or details that we may find relevant for you. This is also a spot where we hope to put past cycle information. So once you're completed this cycle, the intention is to have you access your previous cycle's CCP so you can remind yourself what goals you worked on. This page also has access to the Activities Courses button, which you'll remember was the final button on our QA main page. Let's have a look. This is the main list of the activities courses that can be found built into the program. When you are adding your activities through your goal, you are able to select a known activity. This is just where you can find the main list for you to look at any time. You can search by course name, competency number, or by format such as online or presentation. In our example, we remember that one of the activities we wanted to do was take a communications or marketing course. Marketing. See that there are 3 activities that we know of out there that relate to marketing. If you're interested in more information, simply click the course ID next to it and it'll tell you who the sponsor is so that you can contact them and get some more details. If you'd rather not search by any of these parameters, you can simply click List and you'll get a complete list of all of the activities that we have currently built into the program. If you do find one that you're interested in adding to one of your goals, just remember you'll have to do that within the goal itself when you're adding an activity or course. For more information or guidance on this program, please be sure to review the other CCP materials mentioned throughout this video, which can also be found on the COBC website. In particular, registrants may find answers to any further questions in the Frequently Asked Questions document. Otherwise, you're encouraged to contact the COBC office directly with any questions or assistance if needed, and we'll be happy to help.